All right, so I absolutely love the fact that Glasgow Airport has people coming and going. We've got them going down to London. We've got them going over to Belfast. All things considered, this has been a bit of a success, and hopefully it'll continue to be a greater success. We also have a bunch of people in Glasgow waiting for the train to go to Edinburgh and beyond, which I think is absolutely fantastic. I love that this has worked, and I love that the buildings are now on either side of the train station. I'm so happy with how things have turned out in Glasgow. But I've been thinking a little bit about what I would like to do next, because we've kind of reached the point in the game where I have more money than I know what to do with, and the challenge is essentially gone. And so I sort of want to try and optimize things a little bit in a couple of places. I want to bring some more resources into places like Edinburgh, up to Wick and Ullapool. I think that would be a pretty cool idea. And I'm thinking that we start with tools, because we do have Dundee Tools Factory up this way. And I want to try and do it in a similar way to what we've done with Grimsby down here, because we have this one big factory that's producing a whole bunch of bricks, and then we're taking them both into Grimsby. And we also have a bunch of train lines down here, which admittedly could probably do with an upgrade, that are taking the bricks to Leeds, Liverpool, Middlesbrough, and Scarborough. So I sort of want to redo this. I'm not really thinking I want to do trains though. We'll probably just do trucks going around the Scottish Highlands. But before we do that, I do want to look at upgrading some things in here, because I think we could probably make things a little bit better. I think we're still using some pretty old trucks down here. So looking at Sheffield Quarry, transport is 63% right now. Yeah, those are some old trucks is what they are. We have a rate of 510. We could take that up to 800, which I'm completely fine with doing. Each of these trucks currently has, what is your capacity at the moment? 7. Oh boy. Oh boy. We're gonna be going a little bit higher than that. We have the Opel Blitz dump truck, which can carry literally double the amount of goods. So 11.1 million. And we now have a rate of over 1,000, which we just don't need. So let's go in here and pull out, let's say 4 vehicles to start with to bring us down to 40. That gives us 923. Let's take out 2 more vehicles here. Brings us down to 877. Let's take out 3 more vehicles, and that gives us 808. So 35 vehicles on the line, moving double what they were moving before. That's pretty good. That's exactly what we're looking for. And then over this way, we can kind of do the same thing with bricks going into Grimsby itself. There's currently a rate of 31. If we look over here, the demand is 83. So I think a little bit of an upgrade there might be for the best. Now, we can't move bricks in the dump truck. We can move them in the sour C-type truck with side stakes. So we'll go ahead and replace all of those. That gives us 46. Let's duplicate the number of vehicles. That gives us 92, which is a nice little bit of future proofing down here. And I would like to start bringing some food into Grimsby. And how would I do that if I actually did? We have a farm down this way. Do we have anywhere nearby that can make food? We have a farm down here as well. We have food down by London, I suppose. That seems like one of very few locations that can make food in. In fact, that might be the only place in England that can make food right now. I'm pretty sure there's one up in, yeah, there's one way up here on this little Scottish island. The name escapes me, but I've been near that, I think. That's, First and foremost, this bridge would have to go away. Based on the rules that we outlined at the start of the series, I'm not doing bridges that don't actually exist, and I'm quite confident that this bridge doesn't actually exist in real life. I don't know about this one, but I'm assuming it's probably a similar story, and we would have to do boats. So that food processing plant might be tricky to get access to, but I'm not against it, just not today. So before we go too much further, I want to come in here and I want to start upgrading some of these roads in here so that we can actually use them with a little bit of speed to them once we get vehicles going along. We do have a big old hill to contend with here. The Scottish Highlands themselves are going to be slightly in the way of what I'd like to do, but I do want to go around them. I want to have vehicles just navigating the Highlands. It's going to look kind of cool if we do. So we'll have some trucks sort of go this way. And then I think the way I'm going to try and do this is by building out just some straight sections of road in a couple of little spots. So I think right there should be fine. I think a little section of road right there should be fine. And I think a little section of road that goes right there should be fine. That'll give us the connections that we're looking for. And then I can just sort of curve around to connect all of these together in a way that doesn't look too bad. And then over this way, kind of a similar story around like this. And that does give us a connection from this forest right down here, the Edinburgh forest, to the Edinburgh sawmill. Now, the reason I want to use the Edinburgh sawmill for this is that it's a 2-to-1 ratio of logs to planks. So for every 2 logs, we get 1 plank. My thinking, since Edinburgh itself wants tools, is that we can take some planks from here, we can take them all the way up to the Dundee Tools factory, and then those same trucks, because it's a 1-to-1 ratio of planks to tools, those same trucks can bring tools back to Edinburgh, and that should just make life a little bit easier for us. So I think what we'll do is get started down this way with just a little road right about here, and then of course some kind of truck station, which in this case, the 2 platforms are probably enough. So we'll do 2 platforms right here. We'll have pickup from both sides of the station. Over this way, we could go here, but it messes with the terrain. We're going to be messing with the terrain regardless of what we do. But I do like having the option of connecting this road on the right to other things a bit later on. So let me do a little bit of terraforming here. We'll just flatten this out so we have a nice pad to work with. We can extend this road back a little bit. We can put ourselves a truck depot here. And I think in this case, it is 2 platforms per side. So 2 to drop off, 2 to pick up planks. That should be totally fine. Traffic is probably still going to be a bit of a nightmare, but we can work with that. Now, when it comes to the tools factory itself, I do want to flatten a good amount of land around this guy because it is essentially going to be a hub for Scotland and for Scottish tools. So essentially, we're going to need a lot of access to this place. So I want plenty of space around it so that we can kind of hopefully control the amount of traffic coming and going. Not too sure if that's going to succeed, but we're going to find out together is what we're going to do. Now, I think the way I'm going to go with this is by building a road right here that's going to be 33 meters long. I'm going to build a road right here that is about 33 meters long as well. And then on each of those roads, I'm just going to do some big old stations. Now, we don't need that many platforms, but that does give us a little bit more control in terms of what traffic's going to be doing. And I think that's probably going to be for the best. We should probably upgrade that road as well. And we should probably go out here just a little bit. We'll say 65 meters sort of that way should be fine. And we'll do about 65 meters in that direction as well, in case we ever want to connect up that way, which we probably will, because we need to go to Wick and Ullapool. So let's go in, let's smooth out the damage that we've done so far so that you can't really tell that I've done anything there. And I guess, since it seems about, the right thing to do, we should put some big buildings on here. I like my big buildings. I think they look fantastic. I think they're going to look really good in here. So we're going to do the big buildings. I'm also wondering, we could do some small buildings out of the sides there. I think that looks okay. Yeah, I'm sort of okay with that. I think we can deal with that as the design for this. And so that brings us to a road that's going to connect up to this factory, because currently Dundee doesn't go that far. So I guess basically we want to redo this entire stretch of road here. So I think that is actually what I'm going to do. I'm going to take all of this out, and we're going to try our best to create a road that connects out this way just a little bit better. I'm sort of looking at this road, since it does run through the middle of Dundee. I think it would make sense to maybe upgrade it a little bit, because we are going to be putting a lot of traffic on this road. Now, that's going to be removing a lot more buildings than I'm comfortable with, and I'm sure Dundee's not going to be thrilled about what I'm doing here. But I do think this is the right decision. I do think it makes sense to have a higher capacity road. I just do. I think it's going to be needed. I'm going to be sending a lot of trucks through here because I want to max out my lines, I want to get as many people I want to get as many, not people, as many planks as I possibly can going through Dundee to be turned into tools. So it's going to be something is what it's going to be. I'm also wondering if I want to do some kind of big bridge here. Just because this road here is not great looking, you know? Could we make this entrance to Dundee look a little bit more exciting? I think that'd be kind of nice if we could. Although it does sort of go down into this little valley really nicely. We could go out and around that valley if we wanted to, which might look better. I'm slightly tempted to do that, actually. I think we will. I think we'll bring this right back. This is going to change the length of whatever line I have going out there already, but you know what? That's fine. That's totally okay. Let's go ahead and get ourselves this road. Let's turn on our contour lines, and we need to go sort of, oh boy, I've got so many vehicles at the end of this road. It's hard to click on. There we go. We need to go sort of that way is my thinking. We're sort of going down into this little valley that we have going on. And then we're going to need to go through here, which is a lot steeper than what we've just got. Although is that carving out the terrain? That's not doing too bad, actually. So we're going to go straight through there, which means this guy needs to curve up this way, which is pretty steep, all things considered, but I think we'll live. I think we'll manage is what we'll do. We'll bring this sort of down gradually. I think I'm okay with that. It's not perfect, but we can, you know, turn this into ground and smooth out that terrain. We'll go straight through in little small segments, so we're not doing too much damage to the terrain itself, and then obviously around to the right a little bit. And then I should be able to just go around like this and hopefully connect straight to that road. And that looks okay. I think I'm all right with that. We can smooth it out. We can put some trees around it. We can hide our crimes, as we've done 100 times already, both in this series and on this channel. So I like this. I think that's going to be a much more interesting little road. Not that it needs to be interesting. I mean, we're not playing City Skylines, and I do need to routinely remind myself of that, but it's an interesting little road regardless. And there we go. We have ourselves a road connecting up to this tools factory, which is absolutely fantastic. I sort of did my best to both follow the curvature of the coast. I hid and sort of masked and filled in all the gaps that we had from old roads. So there's a bunch of new trees in there as well. I think this looks very cool. I do. I like this a lot. It's a very cool looking little space. I am sure that traffic through Dundee is going to end up being a problem, and I'm worried about this road down here. For one, I don't know that I love this existing. I think that kind of ruins the vibe ever so slightly. But I also wonder if it would maybe make sense to just upgrade this stretch of road a little bit so that we now have a turning lane, and then maybe upgrade this part as well. I mean, we don't have a turning lane anymore, but just something like this might not be a bad idea, because there is going to be a lot of traffic going back and forth. I mean, this road isn't going to need much because there's probably not going to be a lot going down this road, but right here, I mean, that's a main road going towards Dundee, so it probably makes at least a little bit of sense to have some more lanes there. So the lines on this whole project are going to be relatively simple. I want 2 pickup locations at Glasgow Branch, and I want them going over to Edinburgh South, where they are also going to have 2 drop-off locations at platforms 1 and 2. That is going to be road cargo. It is Edinburgh, and it is logs to planks is what it's going to be. And Edinburgh has a beautiful yellow color. Yeah, I said yellow for its lines. And then when it comes to the line going up to Dundee Tools Factory, we do need it to come through Edinburgh on the way back because we want to drop off some tools. Now, doing that's going to be tricky. We have this road right here, which gives us pretty good coverage of most places that want the tools. But I'm thinking we're going to want 2 stops. So let's say down here, so we're not blocking trams. And let's say up here so that we're getting absolutely everybody, I think. And that should be all right. And then if we go to new line, we want to start down here. Platforms 3 and 4 should be perfectly fine. And then going all the way up to here. We're going to start with this one. We're going to say platforms, hold on a minute. We'll say 6 and 5. So those 2 on the right should be completely fine. And then coming back towards Edinburgh, we stop here and we stop here, and that should be okay. So that'll again be road cargo. It is Edinburgh, and it is planks to tools to city is how we're going to call that one. And also want to make sure that's a lowercase I in city because it matters, and then get it yellow. So at Edinburgh South, let's make sure the only thing we're loading up on is planks. And then at Dundee North, the only thing we're loading up on is going to be tools. Oh no, other way around. Load up on tools, unload the planks, and that should be fine. We should be all right with all of that. Logs to planks shouldn't really need much done to it to make it work. So I think that puts us in a decent little spot. I think that technically means this industry could be up and running. But what we're going to do is pin this line. We're going to go down to Edinburgh Road Depot and make sure we're using the best vehicles available for the job, which in this case, I think will be the truck with side stakes again. And I want to say that I want 30. That was not the button I was looking for. I want to say that I want 30 of these guys because I think that's how many we're going to need to get 800 as the rate on this line. So if we purchase 30 of those, we'll paint them this sort of darker color and we will put them on the logs to planks line, which gives us 537. Wow. That is so much less than I was expecting. Let's put 40 vehicles in that line and see what that does for us and see whether or not that's going to be enough to bring this up to 800, 716, another 5. So 45 vehicles I'm hoping is going to be 806. There we go. That is so much more than I was expecting. And that's going to be nothing compared to what I need on this line down here. That's the thing. That's the scary thing about all of this. We can go to that road depot. We can get ourselves some trucks. We can go with the side stakes again. I'm going to hazard a guess that we're going to need 100 trucks on this line. I'm not going to do 100 trucks right now. I'm going to do 50 because 100 seems ridiculous. And we're going to put them on the Edinburgh planks tools to city line, giving it a rate of 215. Oh, oh no. I might have been right that we need about 100 of those because keep in mind, we're bringing 800 logs over here eventually. We're only moving 400 planks. So yeah, 50 wound up being half of this. That is, oh, that's going to be rough. That is going to be, oh, that's going to be terrible is what that's going to be. Now, how could I make this better? We do have a forest down this way. We don't have any other, well, no, that's a lie. We do have another sawmill here, obviously. We have this one, but I don't know. I think this guy can get maxed out. So 2, 4, 6, maybe this can only do 800. I don't know. I think when this levels up, I think it goes, we have another sawmill somewhere. I can do the math on this. We have a sawmill over this way. What does it do when it's here? 600. Interesting. Oh, that's very interesting. Okay. Right. We might, we might end up in a bit of a tricky spot with this because my goal, obviously, with all these truck depots up here is to have this be a central hub for tools production. So I suppose what we can do just while we're here is build ourselves a road connection that goes over towards Inverness. We'll take something up towards Wick as well. And we'll just see what we can do, I suppose. Also, this road doesn't want to curve, apparently, which is fine, I suppose. We'll do a little straight section here, and then we'll start curving around. And we're just going to follow the coastline again as we head towards Inverness. And you know, I've got to be honest, I never really bothered to look at the layout of Inverness, but this is something, is what this is. This is definitely something. I do think we might want to look at getting a major road through here, which is probably going to get rid of quite a few buildings, but I think this would kind of make sense. I want to then come out this way. Oh man. Do I want to, I don't know if there's a bridge up here. I don't think I've never been to Inverness. I've been up in the Highlands before, but I've never been to Inverness, I think. So how do I want this connection to go? I would like to use this goods factory at some point. I think it'd be really nice to, if we could get, I mean, we have a steel mill up here. If we could get some plastic up this way, we could start shipping goods by boat and also down to Inverness itself, which would be amazing. It would be cool to do something with fuel as well, bringing that up this way since we do have demand for it in Inverness, but I think for now, the best thing we can do is maybe a bit of a drastic rebuild of this part of Inverness. I don't love doing this, but it just kind of makes sense that we might want to consider a little bit of a rebuild here. We'll bring this guy out and then we'll swap out for this country road again. And I just want to start going basically this way is my thinking. So we're going to head towards that little valley we have right there. We're going to sort of continue around like this. We do have some terrain that we need to play with, but that is totally fine. I want to go sort of down and around this little bit of a hill, because I think that's kind of cool. Oh, this is going to be really cool, actually. This is going to be really cool, just circling around there, going down into this valley and heading up towards Wick. Oh, it's going to be such a cool road. It's going to be such a cool road. And honestly, that's one thing I've noticed personally about the Scottish Highlands, and I've seen, you see it in movies as well. The Scottish Highlands have some really cool roads. That one in particular is perhaps a little bit steep. It's maybe a little bit much. It's maybe a little bit daring of me to have this be a road, but you know what? That's what we're going for. It's certainly going to be a dramatic road to drive on. Oh, now, thankfully, we do already have a road going between Ullapool and Wick by the looks of it. So all I need to do is continue on this path that I'm on, which I wasn't really on intentionally, but just straight through this little valley that we have right here, and then kind of bring it up this way. I'm sure these aren't called valleys. Are these like is it the glens? We have glens in Northern Ireland. There's a bunch of glens. Is it the Scottish? It's the Highlands, right? I can't remember what the valleys are called. I'm pretty sure there's a specific word for like the valleys and whatnot. But anyway, it might just be valleys. I might be just overcomplicating things and getting slightly concerned that I'm naming it something wrong when I'm naming it something right. I don't know, but regardless, that's that's what we're gonna go with. Let me swap out this road for more of a little paved rural road that we have going on. Let's do the same thing in here as well, and the same thing in here. We'll swap you out, and everything else seems fine. In fact, that road probably should be a little bit more major. I don't know if it would. Again, haven't been here. Some of the roads really are, they don't have markings, and it's terrifying because some of them are so narrow and you don't know what's coming around a bend, but that seems fine. That seems like a good little connection. I just want to go in here and hide my crimes. I want to get rid of all the ugly bits of terrain that I've caused, because there are certainly a few of them through here that definitely shouldn't be through here. Although that little bit of cliff at the side of the road, I mean, that happens sometimes. That can be realistic, so I think that's all right. This bit here can be fixed up a little bit, and I think that's all right. So now we have a road connection that we didn't have previously. You can technically drive from, Glasgow to Wick if you want to. We also have new buses and a new train. Ooh. Oh, now we're talking. Now we're talking. There's a lot of places that kind of need new buses, but let's focus on Glasgow, because there's a lot of people that want to go to the airport. So we'll swap these guys out for the new Mercedes-Benz bus, which has a capacity of 42 on that line. Let's put 2 more buses in there for a slightly higher capacity. And then we'll do the same thing for the loop around Glasgow as well. We'll just upgrade it to the Mercedes bus. All right, so Wick has a demand of 78 for its tools. Ullapool has 75. So we're basically gonna do 2 lines here. We're gonna have one going from Lower Wick up to absolutely nowhere in Wick, because I forgot to build the truck unload stop, which is very me. Let's build it. I want to say right there is probably fine, right in the middle of Wick. There's not too much traffic going up here right now, so I don't feel too bad about doing that. And I think we'll also go in and just loop this road over to that one. In fact, that looks kind of rough. We'll do it this way if I can get it to if I can get the game to behave, man. Sometimes it just doesn't want to. That doesn't look much better. You know what? Take all of that back. This is what we're gonna do. Bring all of that back, bring this out, bring it around. That looks acceptable is what that looks. It looks acceptable. So that's going to be our stop in Wick. As for Ullapool, it's kind of another tricky situation. Looking down here though, it's going to be these guys that want the tools, so that makes my life a little bit easier. basically, we want to have a rate of about, let's say like 90 on both of these lines. It's going to be tricky is what it's going to be. We're also apparently looping around that way, which is a choice. I would prefer if it went around the other way. I would like to put a waypoint just up here, and then after this station, go to the waypoint so it loops around that way instead of going into Wick itself. That'll be road cargo, it'll be Wick, and it'll be tools to city. And then Wick can be a light blue. There's nothing else in the list around it that's blue, so we'll go for a light blue on Wick. And then for Ullapool, that's going to be the other question, is how does it look when the line goes in here? That is looping it around in a way that I don't appreciate. So again, we'll do a little waypoint right here. We'll go in and say add station to there, and it just loops around in a way that's a little bit more sensible. So road cargo, ULLAPOOL, and it is tools to city. And then for color on this, we'll do yellow. Yellow seems pretty good. Okay. So essentially, we need to, man, the way I said that, the word essentially there just reminded me of my shot from Hamilton. Just essentially, they tax us relentlessly. King George turns around once. Anyway, yeah, just I've been listening to a lot of musical theater stuff lately. So just the way I said essentially was my brain instantly went, they tax us relentlessly. Then King George turns around, runs a spending spree. He ain't never gonna say, I'm not gonna continue that. That's the way my brain works, man. I heard the word and it's just off. We're not doing Transport Fever anymore. We're doing Hamilton now. Oh, it's a little bit embarrassing. God, I'd say I'd cut that out of the video, but I probably won't. That's rough. That's not one of my prouder moments. Don't get me wrong. Nothing wrong with liking Hamilton. Just, yeah, it's just what it is. Let's put a road depot up here. Let's go for this spot right here. And let's see how many vehicles we're going to need to get a rate of like 90 on this. So it'll be the Opel Blitz Tarpaulin truck, which only has a capacity of 12, man. That's rough. Oh, this is going to be terrible. We'll just buy the one for now. And we're just going to put you on the Wick Tools to City line. And then if we look at that line, the rate is 3. We can duplicate. We can duplicate. We can duplicate again. And we can sort of just keep going is what we can do. We'll get up to near 60 with this one. That seems fine. Let's put 4 more vehicles in this line because that gives us up to 70. If I put 5 more vehicles in this line, that should give us close to what I'm looking for, which is 87. Yeah. Okay. I can deal with that. I can deal with 87. I think 87 vehicles will be all right. We'll go and get a few more of these guys. We'll paint it that, we'll go for a slightly different color just to sort of differentiate them a little bit. We'll go for a slightly darker color on these guys, and they can go Wick Tools to City. If we look, or not Wick, did I put it in the Wick line? I did. I wanted it on the other one is what I wanted. You are going to be moving to the Ullapool Tools to City line is what you're going to be doing, which has a rate of 4. So if we duplicate this vehicle, duplicate again, and duplicate again, that should give us a rate of about, I want to say 62. Yeah. And then put 4 more vehicles in that line to give us 20 vehicles. That should give us close to 80, I think. 78. Let's do 2 more just to make sure we have a bit of future proofing right there. And that should be fine. So 86 is not bad. Also, where am I buying those vehicles from? Because I'm definitely not buying them from here. Wait, where did I not? I bought them from here, right? Where did I get those vehicles? Oh, where is it getting those vehicles from? Edinburgh? Okay. Well, fair enough. It's not like Edinburgh doesn't already have way too many vehicles in here or anything, but sure. So while things are getting up and going in Scotland, I want to take a look at our machines factory because we have so much steel in here and essentially no planks. And I would like to do a little something about that. I think we might be dealing with some slightly older vehicles down here. Yeah, they look a little bit outdated is what they look. If we look at Grimsby logs to planks right now, and we look at these vehicles, what have you got in terms of capacity? It is 13. These are not old vehicles. Interesting. That's okay. I might be wrong in my theory that these are old vehicles. Planks to machines, I don't think they're old vehicles either. I do know that this guy is going to be pretty much at capacity in terms of, well, not capacity in terms of production, but it's going to be able to make 400 right now because we're supplying it with the full 800. So we need a second forest to supply this place is what I'm thinking. But we also probably want to go in and get maybe 2 more vehicles in this line to bring this rate up to 400 because that is about what we're moving right now. And this also gives me hope for the other sawmill up in Scotland. So that actually, that works out nicely. We do have this forest over here. Like I said, it's maxed out right now. We do have this one. We did use that forest at one point, but I'm sort of thinking I'm going to use this one, the Birmingham forest, because it's ever so slightly out of the way and I can bring a new road through here that's not going to interrupt the flow of traffic in this space. So that's kind of what we're going to do is build a little something in here and just see what we can do and what we can get away with. So let's do a little road right to about there, I think is pretty solid. On that road, we'll do 2 platforms on the right and none on the left. And we'll put this thing, I want to say right about here is probably fine. Can I make it look any better just while we're here as well? I'd like to, I don't know if I can. I want to get a couple of buildings in here. Apparently not. I can't get the little curb on there, but you know what? That's all right. It's not the end of the world for this one. We'll not worry too much about it. Let's just get this connection going so that we can start bringing some more logs up this way. So we'll bring this road out a little bit further. I'm not going to worry too much about contour lines because the land is, well, it's not flat, but I can kind of see where the hills are. So it's not really the end of the world if we're not perfectly following the contour lines and these slightly smaller hills that we have going on. I will go around this one. We can clearly see the lines though. So we'll go out and sort of around like this. I mean, that's still sort of carving through it, but you know what? It's all right. We'll just do this and that should be perfectly fine. I will of course smooth it out because that's just a thing that we do here. It's just how we work. And then maybe another little sort of dense forest around this just to sort of, I don't know, plant it in the space a little bit more than it currently is. I think that looks fine. We'll sort of go this way a little bit and take over that forest. I think that looks okay. Slightly, a bit less strength in the brush and a slightly bigger brush lets us kind of feather the edges too. So it's not quite as noticeable that I planted all these by hand. I think that looks fine. We'll do a couple along the road as well, just because we can. We'll sort of bring this out a little bit too, just to, I don't know, tie it all together, I guess. I just like trees, man. I don't know what to tell you. And then all we need to do is run a new line up to this new station by Sheffield South. I've no idea what to call this. So we'll just say road cargo Grimsby, and it is logs to planks, and probably logs to planks number 2 for Grimsby, right? Yeah. Logs to planks, we'll say number 2 on that one. And Grimsby is, I think, that color. Yeah, that is not the same color in the slightest. Is it that one? It is that one. Okay. Well, I'm glad I got that sorted out. All we need to do now is get ourselves a bunch of vehicles for that line. So Grimsby, does Grimsby have a road depot? It absolutely does. We'll go and get ourselves, I'm going to say like 10 of these guys to start with is probably going to be enough for what I'm trying to do. We'll paint them in that color right there, and we will assign them to Grimsby logs to planks number 2. So that line now has a rate of 222, which is not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it is going to need to be much, much higher at some point. I'm also thinking I'm just going to upgrade this road as much as I possibly can, because I think that'll give us slightly higher speeds, so the vehicles might be able to move a little bit better, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. So 222 at the minute. Let's double that. Let's put 20 vehicles on the line, and we'll just see how that does for us. We'll just see what that ends up doing in terms of production in here. We should end up seeing an absolute ton of planks get made. And we should be able to move all of those over to our machines production, which I do want to crank up because I want more machines for more places. I also want to balance this out. We have way too much steel just sitting in there. Now, moving away from all of that, I want to come back to Belfast because we have a ton of people waiting for the airport shuttle right now. So let's pin this. Let's go to the airport shuttle, manage those vehicles, and replace them with the Mercedes bus, which gives us slightly higher capacity. Let me put, you know what? Let me double the number of vehicles in that line going out to the airport. That seems like a fair thing to do. The train shuttle is not that busy, but let's upgrade it to the Mercedes as well, just to keep people nice and happy. And the trams are fine. Road passengers going down the East Coast, though, I definitely think we want to swap these guys out for the Mercedes just so that we have the capacity to carry way more people. And that's hopefully going to improve things a little bit in and around Belfast. Although I'm noticing traffic is pretty rough through here. So I kind of wonder, is there a way? We just did some roads through the Highlands, right? We did some little backcountry roads. Do I want to maybe have a back road out of Belfast that comes through Dundalk? We could connect up to this road down here and that connects straight down to Dublin. That might not be the worst idea in the world, to be completely honest. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do that or make that happen, but I think that's what we're going to go and try and do here. So I want to smooth, or flatten rather, this bit of terrain because I want to use this road as my connection point. I want to take this road out of here. And I guess I'll take this one out as well, just so I can, you know what? Take this one out too. We did lose a bus stop, but I'm gonna rebuild it is what I'm gonna do. But I just want this connection to sort of make a bit more sense. I want it to be straight through instead of having that little turn. And then we'll just put the bus stop back there. And that should be fine. I'm hoping it's gonna be fine. This is now gonna come around a little something like this. We'll go around a little something like this. Now, this is carving out some of that hill, which I don't necessarily love, but I think we can deal with that. I'm gonna, oh man, I don't love that layout. I'm not a huge fan of that layout. We'll go like this. And then that is, yeah, that's pretty rough looking. Let's just do, oh, how do I want to do this? How do I want to do this? Let's do this. That seems like a decent little road that sort of goes up onto that hill. We now need to connect around like that is kind of my thinking. And that's actually surprisingly level, which I don't mind. I don't love how that curve looks though. I'm thinking this road might need to come out just a little bit further and then we curve around. And I think that looks better. I think that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. I was going to try and avoid having sort of weird, like sharp turns on this road. And I was going to say we just go straight through towards Belfast, but looking at this, either I'm going around this mountain, which I don't think so, or we're going through this mountain. So I think we're going through the mountain is what that says to me. Let me smooth or flatten rather this bit of terrain down here, because this is where our intersection is going to be. And then basically we do something like this that goes straight off of there. And we want something that goes straight into the mountain on this side. But I think before we do that, let's get our little setup for Belfast here. Let's go for, I don't think it needs to be a major road, but I do think I want a decent looking bridge here. So let's raise this guy up. Let's go something like this. And I think that looks fine. I'm sort of okay with that. My only thinking is, do I ever want boats going in there? Because if I do, this probably isn't going to allow for it. This might. It doesn't look too bad. This is, you know, honestly, I don't dislike that. I really don't mind that. I think that looks kind of cool. I think it looks kind of neat and interesting. It is very much going to block boats going through there, but you know what? Let's just do it. Let's build the thing and we'll not worry too much about it for now. And you know, I think that right there is going to do just fine for our tunnel. It's a lot of tunnel, but it's probably about as good as we're going to get with this whole thing. So we're not going to worry too much about it. We can smooth out this terrain here so things look a little bit less rough, and we'll do the same thing on this side so things again look a little bit less rough. We are going to need to connect this all through, but what I think I'd like to do is actually take out some of this road right here. And then I want to go in and I want to upgrade this little tiny road pretty much the entire way through the middle of Belfast, which means we are going to be getting rid of a few things in here, including a road depot, which is a bit of a shame. I think this entire road here, I'm just going to bulldoze. And then what I'd like to do, oh man, I would kind of like to go off of here, to be totally honest. I think it would make a lot of sense to go straight off of here, like do something like that. That seems really silly to do. No, we're not going to do that. We're just going to go straight through here. We'll just kind of keep the road that we had, but I just wanted the nice straight line for it. I would kind of like to redo my tram road right here. So we're going to bulldoze you for a second, and we're going to go in there with a little side road. I want some tram tracks, and I want to go like this because that just makes so much more sense to me. It just makes so much more sense. Where was the tram stop? Was it on the right side, I think? Does that now work? Belfast Loop 1. No, it was on the other side. Okay, that's fine. We'll do something like this, which means I think that now works. It does not. Manage line at York Road. Go to platform number 2. No, that didn't do it either. Oh boy, what have I done? What have I done? Why does this not work? So you need to go from here around like this, but you just don't want to do it. Okay, let's get rid of you. And man, how did I break this? Oh, I think I just needed to electrify things. Is that what's going on? We have some other problems though. There's no path because of electricity. Oh, yeah, that'd be a bit of a problem for you, wouldn't it? Can I turn you around at all? No. Am I really going to have to put electricity on that road just to get these guys off of there? Does that solve the problem? Don't go that way. You need to turn around is what you need to do and go that way. But that should solve the problem. And hopefully that sort of makes traffic around here just a little bit better. These traffic lights are killing me. I just need you to get back on your path. There you go. All right. So that's been sorted out, which means I can take the tracks off of that road now. And that seems fine. That seems okay. We have a main road sort of cutting through Belfast here. What I'd like to do is continue that road straight down this way. And we're going to go sort of straight to about there is my thinking. It's not the smoothest of roads, but it should be all right. And it's also got tram tracks on it, which I really don't want. And there we go. We have a little back road that comes out of Belfast and goes down to Dundalk. It goes down to Dublin. That seems kind of cool as far as I'm concerned. I like that a lot. I'm not 100% sure that anyone's going to use it, but I like that it exists. I think it's pretty neat. So we'll see what happens, because this is a problem. This is a big problem. We have so much traffic trying to come down into Dundalk. It's a little bit silly. It is distinctly silly. And so hopefully this just takes some of it, you know? That's the goal. I'm not looking for I'm not expecting or looking for tons of traffic through here, but just a little something just to take it away from that main road. That would just be, it would just be just chef's kiss. It'd be perfect. Now, just before we go back to Scotland, I do want to come down here to Mullingar because we still have a ton of people waiting to go to Castle Bar. So we're going to swap these guys out for the Mercedes bus. Same story with Dublin. We want to swap this out. So we're going from 150 capacity to 210, which I think is fine. Galway is doing all right, but I think we'll just make that upgrade as well. And Kilkenny will do the same thing. We'll get the better buses in here, and that'll hopefully keep us pretty good. We do have a loop around Mullingar itself, which I think we will upgrade just because we can. And hopefully that helps us out just a little bit. Now, we do have some traffic problems through here. We have some pretty serious traffic problems through here, and it's a concern. This part especially is deeply concerning. I have some ideas for how I can fix this. I think number one, we need some proper bypass roads for Mullingar. And I think number two, this entire road needs to be upgraded to have 4 lanes, and also it needs to connect to Galway a bit sooner so that any traffic going this way to get to Galway can go into Galway that little bit sooner. We can also sort of do a ring road around Galway to make things a little bit better, but again, that's something I think we can deal with in a future episode, probably the next one, but not today. I know it's a problem, just not today. All right, so we are now on our way back to Scotland, but first things first, we do want to check in on the machines factory, which I think is doing better. We have fewer we have less steel. That's the word I'm looking for. Less steel in here than we did before. So I think we're slowly sorting things out. Looking over this way, this guy is on the brink of leveling up, which is beautiful because these guys are moving 646 right now, which is absolutely kind of wild. So that's not bad. We have a ton of planks in here, which is great. This guy is also in the process of leveling up. So yeah, production in here, not bad. I do think planks to machines might need a little bit of love. So let me go ahead and put 7 more vehicles on here, which gives us 40 vehicles in total at a rate of 482, which is quite impressive. I think we'll go in and maybe just give them slightly larger cargo platforms so that we're maybe not losing all of those planks. We'll do the same thing on this side just to even it out a little bit. And I might double up the cargo platforms. I might say that we can have them picking up the planks from the 2 platforms on the left there. I think that kind of makes sense. We'll do some big old buildings back here as well, which give us a little bit of extra cargo space, which we definitely seem to be needing with all of the planks in here right now. And if we go to planks to machines, we manage that line, Sheffield Central, using platforms 1 and 2. Hopefully that's going to be good. We're not overloaded anymore, but we're definitely going to be getting there. This guy's going to be making a lot of planks, and I'm very excited about that. Oh, now that was an interesting bus that we just unlocked. I'm not sure how I feel about that one, but I want to have a very quick look at it because it was definitely interesting looking. We do have trams going around Liverpool at the moment. We do have road passengers from Liverpool to Manchester though, and it is quite busy. So if we were to replace these guys, we have this, which is slower than the Mercedes by quite a bit. It is the same speed as the current bus. I want to use that. It can carry 25 people. It's a ridiculous looking bus, but it can carry 25 people, right? That's kind of what I'm looking for. Look at that thing. Look. Oh my God. Oh, I love it. It's got like a fin on the front. Oh my God. That is the coolest looking. That's like something out of the Jetsons. I'm aging myself a little bit with the Jetsons reference. It was look, the Jetsons was old when I was a kid. Okay. I'm 31. I'm not like the Jetsons was an old cartoon when I was a kid. It's, I can still remember the theme song for it as well. Yeah, that's straight out of the Jetsons though. That's amazing. Do we have any new trams though? Because I haven't looked at these for a while. It doesn't look like we do. Hold on a minute. We have this. It has a higher capacity but slower speed. So I don't think we ever bothered to upgrade to it because slower speed. I do think though, it might be interesting to consider the idea. Oh wow, Mullingar to Dublin's getting sorted out now. The East Coast line, on the other hand, very busy. Would it be an idea to swap out these guys for a bus that is considerably smaller? What does the capacity go up to? 800? All right. Yeah, we're gonna, they look amazing. I love those. They're so silly looking. They're so, oh my God, they've got like a little, it's like a boat. I love this kind of style though, like the bits at the back. It's so good. It is straight out of the Jetsons, but it looks amazing. Anyway, when it comes to Scotland, I want to have a look at how we're doing in here. This guy is producing up to 800 logs, which is great. This line is moving 909, so that can be we can get rid of some vehicles from that guy if we really want to. This guy is doing okay. Dundee Tools Factory is getting 100% of what it needs right now, which is great. So that's not too bad. None of these lines, at least the Planks Tool City one, I don't imagine is making all that much money. Can I make sure that I've set this up properly? So, oh, I haven't. And this is something I did right at the start of the episode, and oh man. You probably caught this before I did. You probably noticed this long before I did. The trucks that we're using, they can't bring tools back. So we need to swap out the side stakes for something like the Opel Blitz tarpaulin truck, because it can actually bring the tools back to Edinburgh, which is what we're looking for. Now, a rate of 266 is not bad on this because Edinburgh only has a demand of 137. But if we're aiming for, 100 here and 101 there, we are going to need, 266. So 400, let's say a rate of 500. So we need a higher, we need this to upgrade, which it is now doing, which is fantastic. But this essentially needs 100 vehicles, which is ridiculous that I'm going to do this, but we're doing the 100 vehicles. It would make probably a lot more sense to have some trains going to oh man, it would make so much more sense. It's also, the game is really struggling to clone those vehicles, but there we go. That'll give us 534, which is fine. It would make more sense to do trains, but I'm hoping that with how spread out these vehicles are going to end up, it should be fine. We do have a bunch of tools in here, which is very exciting, both to Ullapool and Wick. Very happy to see that. I also like that you do see people driving through the Highlands on their way down towards Dundee and Edinburgh. I think that's very cool. I do. I like that a lot. I love, oh man, that's so cool looking. Just all these guys going through the Highlands. It's so cool looking. Now, something that I do need to be mindful of is that this guy right here is never going to be able to produce 500 planks without me connecting another forest to this entire setup. It's going to make up to 400 right now, which is fine, but that's all it's ever going to be able to make because this forest can only produce up to 800 logs. So at some stage, we might want to bring another forest into the equation just to make things a little bit better. And make sure that we can actually start shipping all of those planks up to where we want them to go. We do have still a ton of trucks coming out of Edinburgh. That's going to be a thing for a while, I suppose. But we do now have some tools getting lined up to actually go down to Edinburgh, which is fantastic. We have a good number of tools in here waiting to go further north into Scotland. So that's, all things considered, I think a resounding success on this little tools industry that we have going on. Obviously, it could be, we could do more with it, but we don't really need to. There's not that many places up here that want tools. So as long as we're taking them to the places that want them, I'm kind of okay with that as our setup. And if if I can make this thing into an absolute powerhouse of tools production, then we might build some kind of little dock and we might start taking tools down towards literally anywhere on the coast that needs them, which is so far nowhere. That's great. There we go. Ipswich. Wait, no, they're getting tools already, aren't they? Yeah. Oh, wow. What is going on here? Oh, wow. Okay, there's a lot of tools waiting to go to Ipswich. Hold on a minute. What's the demand in there? It is 120. The rate is 81. Okay. Let me, oh man, the Benz tarpaulin truck is almost, wait, are we using the Benz tarpaulin truck down here? No, we're using the Opel Blitz. Okay, let me just duplicate those vehicles to make sure that we're moving all of those tools. That seems like a really good idea. Canterbury only has 2 trucks on there, but a demand of 40 with a rate of 28. So we'll duplicate those as well. And then Cambridge has a rate of 147. Where's Cambridge? Cambridge is up there with a demand of 168. So let's not necessarily double all of those, but we could maybe do another 5 vehicles on that line just to make sure that everything's okay on that particular front. Oh no, this is what I wanted to see. The Liverpool Machines Factory is about to level up again, which is great. Our production is currently over 600, which I absolutely love. So I'm very, very happy to see that things are starting to get balanced out here just a little bit. Hopefully that means more machines for everybody. That's the goal. That's the plan. That's the hope. More machines for absolutely everybody. What is going on here? There are so many people wanting to go in HS1. It's not full is the thing. It's just, yeah, I mean, it's half full. I wonder if we just want longer trains. I don't know. I mean, it's heading out now. This one here in particular it's also not full. There's just a lot of people that want to, you know, head south from Manchester. I suppose it's okay. I suppose we'll not worry too much about it. In here, steel machines 438 right now. We could probably make that better. If we look at this guy, it's 344, so we shouldn't really have too many problems. I am thinking though, since this is just moving steel, we can swap these vehicles out for something that might be a little bit better at that. So something like the truck with the side stakes would be better for that. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll swap them out. That gives us 474. I think we can then get rid of maybe 5 of them, just so we have a little bit less traffic on the road. 395 is fine because again, this guy is 344. So we should have a few of these trucks running a little bit empty, if anything, which again, that's sort of okay. Anyway, it looks like Scotland has been figured out. The tools are starting to move absolutely everywhere, which I absolutely adore. Traffic is, I mean, it's going to be busy down here. We have 100 trucks going back and forth, but I think given the distance, we should be all right. Planks production is going quite nicely. I'm sure that'll sort of get balanced out with time as well. I am wondering if we should do a roundabout in here just to deal with a lot of these roads that we have going on. I don't think we need to at the moment. I think this, again, will sort of filter out. I don't love this road, though. And Glasgow seems to keep insisting on putting stuff in there, which I really don't want. So I'm going to say that this road is owned by me. I'm going to say this road is owned by me, this road is owned by me, and this road is owned by me. Because what that'll do is stop the game from attaching new roads to it, like this, which I don't appreciate. So we're going to take this out. We're going to take you out. And I'm going to say that this road is also owned by me. And if I swap that back out for more of a country road, that actually sort of puts a bit of a cap on how far Edinburgh can expand in this direction, which I think makes sense. I'm going to do similar here and say that I want this road to be owned by me as well. Of course, the game's auto-saving as I do this, but my plan is to sort of have an upper limit on how far Edinburgh can expand towards Glasgow. I think that just kind of makes a bit of sense. So having all of this owned by me means that it can fill up this space and connect to that part of the road. It can fill up this space and connect to that part of the road as well. It can go as far as it wants in this direction. And I'm going to say that this is all owned by me as well, so that it doesn't connect to that road and sort of interrupt the flow of traffic. And that works both ways. It means that Glasgow isn't going to expand too far in that direction either. I think we'll do the same thing with this road just to make sure these guys don't connect at some point. And we do have a bit of a worry with Manchester and Liverpool are getting real close together. They're almost one city, which is certainly something. But you know what? I think we're probably good for today. I think we've managed to achieve what I set out to do, which was to get this tools production going for Scotland. So very happy about that. We are going to need to look into the fact that a lot of people want to fly from Glasgow to London. So we might need more than 2 planes on that line, but that's something we can worry about in the not too distant future, because that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. This has been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.